Hi everyone, Teresa Aker here from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. I'm thrilled today to bring you Emmett Loverde. Hi Emmett, how you doing today?
Hello. Uh, I'm doing well, thank you.
Good, thank you. And we're so glad you're here. Okay, Emmett, thank you for joining me today. So Emmett has a movie out right now. It's called Without a Name. And that's what we're going to talk about. It's going to be released. And we want to come back to you, Emmett, so that you can start telling us what it is you do, what your show is, your movie is all about, and take us from there. So let's start with what you are actually doing, Emmett.
Well, at this point, I am a filmmaker. That's my full time job. I have directed 5 feature films and a bunch of short films. Uh, Most of them you can watch on streaming services, and I'm very proud of the work I've done so far, but I'm also very excited about what's coming up.
Okay, Emmett, can you start with what you've done already? Can you at least list those for us so we can take a look at them and look them up? Can you list some of them?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to let everybody know, the I'm probably the only Emmett Loverde in the world, and if you search for my name, that my work will come up. It's Emmettloverde. My first feature was a family comedy called Santa's Letters, and that's streaming on a bunch of platforms, including Tubi. And uh, I have a romantic comedy called She's Out of His Mind,
She's out of his
and
mind. Okay, got it.
She's Out of His Mind, and that's a fun one. Of interest to people at this moment in time is She's Out of His Mind. One of the stars of the film is Jennifer Seville Newsom, and she is the wife of the California governor, Gavin Newsom.
Oh, isn't that interesting? Okay.
Yes. So if you've ever been curious, yes, she can act and she's very good in the film. Um, I have another one called Girls Night In, Beauty,
Girls Night.
Brains, and Personality. That's a comedy about 3 female friends. Girls Night In is streaming on Tubi and Amazon and a bunch of other places. And this new one is called Without a Name, and I
Oh, good.
have the
Thanks for holding it up.
I have the a poster for it,
Perfect.
and it is not widely available yet. We're still showing it in film festivals.
Oh,
We showed it in a festival in November in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and it was a big winner. It won Best Horror Film, and it also won an overall Independent Spirit Award for the festival. And that one it's going to be screened in another festival in Muskogee, Oklahoma.
okay.
Um, that's a really fun festival. It's called the Bare Bones Film Festival. It's for low budget films and low budget filmmakers, which I am
Is that what you
proudly
do? Yeah.
at this. Yeah, I mean, I think if you asked any low budget filmmaker, you know, is that your goal to be a low budget film? No, they would say I want to make movies at reasonable budgets. I don't want to have to scrimp and save and cut corners and that kind of thing. But you know, until we all get there, that's where we are. So, but Bare Bones is a lot of fun. That's going to be at the end of March, and I can't wait to attend that one. After Bare Bones, we expect Without a Name to get a streaming release, and people should be able to watch it all over the world.
Fantastic.
And I have one more film that I directed, and it is not yet finished. It's called The Maginot Line, and that is
Imagine
a
the line. Okay.
Maginot Line, yes. And if you know anything about European World War II history,
Okay.
the Maginot Line was a it was a large wall that was built in France to prevent the Nazis from entering France, and it did not work. It was a massive failure, unfortunately. Um, my film is a comedy about a family named Maginot, and I we bill it as a, a story of family and other disasters. And anyway, I can't wait to have that one come out too. Um, you, there's not enough hours in a day sometimes to work on everything that I'm, trying to get going. But I'm very excited about where things are right now.
Emmett, we're
And
really happy for you. I want to tell everybody, Emmett's talking to us from Los Angeles, so we all know they're having some issues down in some very serious issues down in Los Angeles. So I really appreciate you coming on today. So if he's having a little raspiness, that's what it's from, and we're grateful you're here, and we're grateful you're safe. That's the most
yes.
important. And I'm up here in Canada, and you may or may not know that. And we have the Toronto Film Festival. You may be aware of that. And
Oh yeah.
I'm certainly familiar with film festivals, and in Canada, we just love ours. And so, Emmett, tell us how you got into filmmaking. Talk to us about when you got started. What got you into this?
Well, real quick, the producer of Without a Name and also the producer of um, the Maginot Line.
Yes,
His name is Hayato Mitsuishi. He's from Toronto. Just thought
wonderful.
I'd share that. Yes.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah. But how did I get into it? You know, I I feel like filmmaking is one of those professions that chooses you. You don't really you see a movie. I mean, it's what happens a lot of times, to a kid is a kid will go into a theater, and they'll see the Nutcracker and they'll see the dancing and they'll say, "Oh my God." And that's just, they don't even, they just want to be there. They just want to do it. And the same thing happens, I think, with filmmakers is they'll see a movie and they have no idea how they're made. They have no idea, what causes them. They just know that they want to be a part of that. And that's what happened to me. Um, Actually, with both theater and film, I loved, seeing actors on a stage, and I love seeing actors in movies. And I just always, you know, that I always knew that was my direction. And so much of my life has been set up just, how to get me there.
Oh,
And
absolutely. And you have
yeah.
you have different types of movies. Is there a type of movie you actually really like filming, or does it matter? Just love filming.
Um, well, I love comedy.
Oh,
Um,
okay, that's good.
I Yeah, I really love comedy. But I also love thrillers and scary movies. Um, I love I love eliciting a moment emotions in an audience, through whatever means are at hand. Whether it's dialogue or scary sounds or scary pictures and that kind of thing. So um, it's all it's all fun to me. I'm actually the son of two actors.
Oh,
Both my parents were actors, and so grew up seeing them act. And that's, when your parents are when your parents do something, that kind of makes it acceptable, you know in your mind, where you're not. I mean, if my parents were circus performers, I would, I would,
may or may
I don't
not.
mean to laugh, but I would probably feel like, well, yeah, of course, that's what you do. You get
Yeah.
on a trapeze, and eh, um, so it makes uh, it makes it possible, you know.
Now,
The yeah, go ahead.
no, that's okay because you were talking about your parents. Now, did you grow up in Los Angeles, or did you grow up? What area did you come from?
Well, I actually was born in Chicago, and
Okay,
then I grew up in Berkeley, and
okay.
Berkeley is near San Francisco. Berkeley was a very exciting town to grow up in, and it was a very exciting time to be there. and uh, a lot of stuff was happening in Berkeley when I was growing up. In the 1960s, Berkeley was very famous for being one of the centers of the free speech movement, and there was a lot of, a lot of activity, a lot of protesting against the war in Vietnam, um, and a lot, just a lot of activism. Well, I grew up right after that,
Right.
so many things had already happened in Berkeley, and we kind of was like, like, geez, man, we missed all the cool stuff, because all the crazy gestures that already happened. But what was happening when I was growing up is the children of all of that activity, of all of that, we were starting to think, well, how are we going to affect the world? And what are we going to do? And a lot of my contemporaries became musicians. And you may know some of the musical, bands that came out of that era in Berkeley.
Go ahead, fill
Probably
us
the
in.
most, I'm sorry?
Go ahead, fill us in who they are.
Oh, yeah. Well, probably the most famous one is Green Day,
Oh,
the
okay.
band. Um, uh, I didn't know the members of Green Day, but um, they're very close to my cousin Richie, who he Richie is an artist, and he drew the cover of one of the most famous Green Day albums called Dookie, um,
Okay.
and it, and I grew up next door to a gentleman named Sam McBride who was in a band called Fang. And Fang, you may not know Fang,
I'm not
but
familiar, but
Fang's music was played by a lot of other famous bands, including Green Day,
okay,
Nirvana, Metallica,
sure.
um, uh, Mudhoney.
Yeah.
It's so they certainly, the music that was happening there really has made its mark. Also, two guys in there's another band called Rancid, and those that was formed by two guys that I went to high school with. One of them was a friend of mine at one point. So it was exciting to be around all of that. And I'm not musical, um, but it's the same spirit of just wanting to express myself through pictures, basically.
Oh,
So.
absolutely. And honestly, I agree with what you said. If you're in that environment, you're going to come up through it. How exciting to be part of that too, to be able to be close to and see bands that you know and watching people grow up in the bands. So that in itself is exciting. I agree with you. And I think we're all sort of celebrity struck when we see someone that we know that we knew from when before they were actors and musicians, and then all of a sudden they become successful and you're kind of like, I knew them when they were just starting out. So that's exciting too. Now, I do
Mhm.
want to come back to your mom and dad. Can we ask what your mom and dad, any movies that or things that they did that you could share with us, or
Well, my
was it too long
um,
ago?
no, I'm happy to share. My mother was my mother gave up acting to raise a family,
Sure.
as so often happens, unfortunately. But my mother was in a Disney movie um, that was on. I think it was broadcast in. I think it was 1963, and it was called Little Dog Lost, and it
Little
was
Dog
it was
Lost.
on. Yeah, it was on the Wonderful World of Disney. I think it was, that was always on Sunday nights. And unfortunately, my mother played this the mother of this family that owned this little Welsh corgi named Candy, and my mother played the mother who was threatening poor Candy with a
Oh,
broom. So my mom was the mean lady who was mean to the
well,
dog and made the
somebody
dog
had
run
to play it,
away.
Emmett.
Yeah, yeah.
Kudos to
Um,
mom.
yes, yeah. But and my father, my father did a bunch of theater, especially in Chicago. And he actually acted with um, some well-known actors, one of whom was Tony Randall. Now,
Oh,
a lot of people may not remember Tony Randall,
I
but
remember him.
he was one of the stars of The Odd Couple.
Mhm.
And Tony Randall did The Odd Couple on stage in Chicago in 1968. And my father was in that show with him. My father played Murray the cop.
Ah, okay.
This is right before Tony Randall went on to do the TV series The Odd Couple. And um, anyway, so my father ended up being on The Odd Couple as a guest actor 5 times in
Oh, is
different
that right?
parts.
Oh,
Yeah.
that, oh, that's sort of cool for you too. We'll
Oh
have to
yeah,
look
yeah. It
for him.
was. You can. Well, the most famous episode, the most famous episode my father was in was there's an episode where Felix is and I think you can find this scene on YouTube
Oh,
actually.
I'm
There,
going to look it
Felix
up.
Felix is arrested for scalping opera tickets, and my father plays the officer who arrests him. And the episode culminates in a big courtroom scene where uh, Felix, I think he's questioning. I think he's questioning Oscar, but he says uh, somebody says, "Well, I just assumed," and Felix says, "You assume." When you assume, and he writes it on a chalkboard, he says, when you assume, you make an ass of you and me.
I love it. I love it.
So that's very
Perfect.
famous episode. But my father was in that one.
Oh, I'm looking that one up, Emmett, too.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
But it was,
absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
and I saw my father do a lot of plays and things like that when I was growing up. So
Sure. Now, did you get into theater when you were in school, or like, did you do behind the scenes? Did you do any acting yourself? Did you think about doing that?
I did a fair amount of acting. I actually was a theater major at UCLA
Okay.
and loved that. Loved every second of that. Um, but UCLA was also where I started making films too. Um, and the thing was, I as a theater major, I wasn't in the film program exactly, but there was no reason why I couldn't make movies, and so I just started making movies with my classmates.
Oh, right on.
And yeah, probably my most famous. I don't mean to name
Oh,
drop,
please
but it.
do.
Okay, my most famous classmate was Jack Black.
Jack Black. Oh, of course, we all know
Yeah.
Jack Black. Absolutely.
Well, now he and I, we weren't personal friends or anything. We happened to be at school at the same time, but I certainly was aware of him, and you know, it was kind of exciting as he started to get more and more famous. It's like, oh, I know that guy. Um, so again, it was it's exciting. I'm sure it's exciting to be around people where something's they're going places and
Absolutely. Emmett, I've seen
anyway.
some actors say, I went to school with so and so, didn't even know them then, or saw them at school. Now they're a big star. And there are other actors that even say, they support each other. There is something inside. You like to see people succeed and you like to see them
Mhm.
do well in life, right? One of
Oh
my
yeah.
one of my friends I got to interview here is Carla Collins. You might know her from Carla Wood. And
Oh.
yeah, she was up here in Canada and she did one of my shows with me. I was very grateful that she did that. She's such a nice lady, just like you're a very kind person. And so it's about not just knowing someone, it's just encouraging them to keep going and be successful. And Emmett, I know you have future dreams, so we're all going to encourage you to keep going. I'm going to be looking for your movies, and everyone else is. It's all part of it, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. You
Yeah,
want to
and
see everybody achieve.
well, you also have no idea who's gonna who's gonna blow up. You know what I mean? And you can one way to look at that is be very nice to everybody, you know, in a genuine way, not just faking it, of course. But I mean, you know, because you have no idea who's going to be, um, you know, who is on a path to greatness,
Oh,
and
agreed.
you might be that. You know, it might be you. It might be somebody you were working with, that kind of thing.
And I agree
Um,
with you. I think we're all in this whole world together and things happen for a reason. And I think as you go forward, I mean, Emmett, you're going to do your next movie and I'm going to watch it. I'm sure the audience is going to watch it. Everybody's going to be looking for it because it is about networking. It's about getting out there. And you're right. You have to be kind to people when they're on the way up. It doesn't matter. You got to be kind to people anyway. I totally understand that. But you're right. Be careful, that how you're treating people because it does matter. It does matter, all
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. Well, if you've ever been, I don't. When I was younger, I used to enjoy going to Las Vegas, and one of the things I loved about Las Vegas was, you know, we were always broke, you know, when we were there, but we loved being there. And part of what was fun about Las Vegas was, um, it just felt like everybody was treating you very nicely, even though, you know, it's like you wanted to say, "Did they know I have no money?" or you know, that kind of thing. But the exciting thing about Las Vegas is nobody knows who's going to win big.
Right.
You could be on top of the world in the next 5 minutes. That, you know, you could win that jackpot, you could win the big prize, or lose it, you know. And so it seemed to me, at least at that time, that people who worked there and everything were very kind to everybody, because you never knew who's gonna, you know, be the big winner. And so it just, it felt good, you know. You felt like uh I don't know, anything can happen, you know. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean,
Now let's
yeah.
talk about, I know we talked a little bit without a name, and I know it's
Mhm.
just coming out now, and you're doing some of the film festivals. What time frame are we looking at for your next one?
Actually, the next one is going to be, hopefully be done within 6 months. Um,
Nice.
the Maginot Line, we've already shot it,
Oh,
and
okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah,
I'm writing it down.
it's already shot. We have if you go to the MaginotLineMovie.com, you know, you can, that'll take you to our page and it'll tell you the latest updates about the movie. But our star in that film is, her name is Mara Marini, and she's
Armor.
Canadian.
Oh, nice.
Mara, yeah, Mara's Canadian. She is hysterical. She is really funny. I've known her for several years now. She was in a play that I wrote, um, and she just brought the house down every night on that play. I was so happy with her work, and so I was so happy that we could get her for this movie. Um, Mara is Mara was on the show Parks and Recreation.
Oh, I know that show, sure.
Yeah, she had a recurring role. You know, somebody who comes on more than one episode. She had a recurring role. She played a porn star in the show called. Her name was Brandy Max, and she was very funny. If you ever look up, you know, Parks and Rec Brandy Max, you can see all her scenes. But and also another star in the Maginot Line, is his name is Carlo Mendez.
Carlo Mendes.
Yeah, and Carlo is, he happens to be the brother of Eva Mendes, the actress.
Oh, okay.
And he's also on a show right now. It's a new Dexter. Um,
Oh, I know Dexter, sure, that show, yeah.
yeah, it's a new one that's right now. It's, you know, like Dexter: The Next Generation, or I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact name, but but if you look up Dexter,
Sure.
um,
And I know the show. I
it's
know which one you mean.
yeah, they're shooting it right now. So it's um, and Carlo's great, Mara's great. I'm just I can't say enough about the Maginot Line, and I hope to be talking to you and
Oh
the
gosh,
rest of the
we'd love you
world
to
very
come back
soon.
and talk about it. Emmett, that would be great.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I'm,
We have so I know you're in California and I'm in Canada. We do a lot of filming out of our location just outside of Toronto at a place called
mm,
Parkwood. And they
mhm,
do a lot of films there. They did the X-Men, they did Murdoch Mysteries, all kinds of movies up there
mhm.
at there. And the filming industry is pretty big in Canada, as you know, out in Vancouver.
Oh
It's
yeah,
absolutely huge. So I don't know if you ventured up here with some of your films when you're doing the filming, but we're pretty proud of it. And we certainly see so much out of California because all the big stars are out of California as well. And so
mm,
and I guess the climate certainly allows you to work longer, through the seasons where we have seasons here that really do limit them and that's a big factor, right? Um, but uh,
yeah.
but when you're filming, when you're choosing a film, do you do you actually make the film? Do you yourself are you asked to do the film or are you the one creating them? What do you do, Emmett?
I well, most of the films that I've mentioned,
Mhm.
I was also a writer on the movie. In many cases, I was the main writer, and so as the writer and the director.
Sure.
Without a name, I have a co-writer. His name is Larry Maravilla, and um, and so the in the cases of these movies, I found investors. I I basically was on for the whole thing. Found the investors, planned out the shoot, um, uh, met with actors to see who could play the parts. Uh, was obviously there every second of filming, you know,
Sure.
and in many cases, I actually ran the camera. Um, and people have said like, "Oh, do you run the camera because you're the only one who can realize your vision?" No, it's just faster.
Uh, yeah, I get
It's
it.
just it's faster. It's
Because
like
you know what
I
you
don't need
want,
to.
right?
Yeah, I don't need to explain to somebody. Take 10 minutes. I got to explain it. You guys just wait, and
Yeah.
I'll explain. Like I know what I'm trying to do. I'm but I'm happy to work with other people on the camera. That's because I think my main talent is as a writer director. I love shooting. This is the universal shooting, um, because
Okay.
we're all still using wind up cameras. Um,
But now we all know.
yes,
Now we know what the sign is and for shooting, we're all
yeah,
going.
we're holding the camera. We're
Exactly.
turning the
Exactly.
crank. But
Exactly.
it's but I love I love every step of the way. I also I've directed plays for other people. I've directed films for other people. I've edited a bunch of films by other people.
Sure.
Um, I mean, I'm happy to. I love collaborating. It's the my career is the way it is at this moment because that's how things fell into place. But I love participating. I enjoy acting actually. I don't get asked to act very often, but I certainly love to do it when someone wants to stick this mug into a movie.
You never know. We
So,
might see you in the next film, Emmett. Other than
well,
being a writer, you might be the lead role as well. Emmett,
yes,
you have been absolutely wonderful today, and you will come back, right? Because we want to get you
absolutely.
to the next movie,
Yes,
right?
I'd love to come back.
Yes, and for everyone without a name, can you put it back up there for us to see so
Sure.
everyone can see it? There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, Emmett, if someone wants to get a hold of you or talk to you, what's the best place? Now, I'm going to put your bio and everything on here, but what's the best place to find you?
Um, Probably on Facebook.
Okay.
That's probably the easiest. Especially if they mention your show,
Yeah.
like say that I saw you on the show, so that so that they're not just coming out of nowhere. But
Sure.
uh, and also, by the way, you can watch a trailer for this movie right now. It's very simple. You go to withoutaNamemovie.com, and that'll take you right to the trailer.
And I'll put
And
that on there without a movie, without a name
movie,
movie.com.
yeah,
I'll put that up as
yeah.
well, Emmett, so we have it, okay?
Because I think our trailer is a lot of fun, and it really gives you a sense of the energy of the film. And by the way, for those of you in the Midwestern United States, Without a Name was actually filmed in Wisconsin, so a little closer to Toronto than I am at this moment. But
Yeah, because I think I assumed it was done in Los Angeles, so thank you very much for that.
yeah, I love filming in Los Angeles, but I've met some people, outside the city, and they said, "Hey, come make a movie in our town," and it really worked out. So
Perfect. Thank you today for joining us, Emmett, and we're looking forward to having you back. I'll make sure
mhm.
everybody that Emmett Loverde's information is here. So all you have to do is click on the YouTube and LinkedIn because we're recording today, of course, and we're gonna put it out on social media. Cannot wait to see your movies. I'm going to be looking at the movies you talked about. We'll put those down as well. And definitely looking forward to you coming back, Emmett. Thank you again. And
My
I'm
pleasure.
Teresa Aker from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. I hope you're having a great day, and I look forward to talking to you all very soon. Bye bye now.